Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler V, series V's I do for the water. I go over the trial food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks. Come on now. There we go. I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. This is my third review in a row, and then on top of that, I had like a little piece of breakfast pizza before I started doing the reviews. So I'm done with reviews after this for the day, man. I'm already... But we'll get to that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I am inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, well, deal with it. I'm wearing grody work clothes. Typically, when I'm inside the truck and I'm wearing grody work clothes, that means that I was on my way home from work and I found some shit to review for you. That's not kind of the case today. So I actually got this on my lunch break. I went over there. You know, sometimes when I go for lunch, I bring something. Sometimes I go over there and hit up 7-Eleven or another gas station. Today I went over there and I hit up a Thornton's and, you know, I picked up a few things, a couple of hot dogs for myself. And as I was making my way out, I happened to notice these, and I was like, all right, sure, man, that's the thing I can review. Plus, I don't think I've ever reviewed anything from this particular brand before. What is it, folks? What are we doing here? Well, it's from Quaker. It's Boom! It's yes. These are Quaker, established in 1877, don't you know? Sweet and spicy chili Rice Crisp. Flavored with other natural flavors. They are gluten-free, 14 grams whole grains per serving. No artificial flavors. And yeah, okay, sure. No artificial preservatives, gluten-free, and no high fructose corn syrup, low cholesterol, no colors from artificial, blah, blah. Full of flavor crunch, made whole grain. Sure, why the fuck not? So it's Quaker, right? It's a thing. Yes, sure. First of all, let's get a thing for the thing. It looks like that. And then let's get a little bit. Ha ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Yeah, okay. So, like little rice cake snack thing. Sure, man. Plus, you got Quaker Dude, right? He's a guy. Oh. Let's go ahead. And yeah, they're like these little puff chips. I've had similar things to these. And I've actually had, like, you know, see, look. I've had, like, little, you know, rice cakes before. There, let's give it a go. That's not bad. The fundamental problem that they're going to run into with these is that ultimately, at the end of the day, you can flavor them with whatever you want. You are still trying to dress up rice cakes. And now, I'm actually kind of okay with rice cakes. As a kid, I was kind of a little weird. I actually liked rice cakes. My grandparents would get them because they're old folks. And, you know, I would actually be perfect. I would chill with my grandparents and eat rice cakes and watch Matlock. So, you know, I may have in fact been an 80-year-old child at the time. But yeah, but again, the problem is you are just trying to dress them up with a fancy flavor. But said fancy flavor's nice, to its credit. It's very immediate. And there's like a little heat to it. Not a lot, but a little. And then there's like a kind of a very mild sweetness, you know? And they kind of take turns a little bit, sort of being at the forefront. Part of the issue, though, is that at the end, you just kind of get a nice heat at the back of your throat. Just a little bit. I mean, the thing is, there's a number of problems that come into play with this. One is that, ultimately, rice cakes, although I personally am fine with them, they're hard-pressed to be a good vehicle for flavor because of just the nature of what they are. They're these light, airy things, right? So it's kind of hard to really, like, because once you bite into them, they almost immediately start kind of dissolving. And so there is sort of a midpoint in the eating where you're not getting a whole lot of flavor. Like, it's just being sort of dissolved and digested in your mouth. then you start to get the flavor again. So the initial crunch, good flavor. Then throughout the middle, not a lot, and then kind of at the end, you get hit with it again. So you run into that issue. Then there's just the thing of like, okay, who are these for? Because again, when I think, and maybe I'm not up to date with the hip new older folks, but when I think of rice cakes, I think of older folks, and maybe that's completely inaccurate these days, and I'm not trying to harsh on any old folks, do your old folk thing, just, be cool about shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just like, I guess to be fair, older folks now are probably different than older folks when I was coming up as a kid. Maybe they're a little bit more adventurous. Maybe some sweet and spicy chili ones would be nice for them. I don't know. But for me personally, they're not a bad snack, but like, it's definitely one of those things where it's like, yeah, they're okay. The flavoring on them is pretty good. I just don't know as a snack that these really work that well, The consistency of it and just none of it's bad, but it's just, I don't know, it's unusual. Everything in my brain is basically just telling me, okay, that tastes kind of nice, but wouldn't this just be better on a tortilla chip? The answer is yes. So, but they're not bad for what they are. 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get them again? Would I recommend them? Probably not. Kinda, I guess. Like, there's nothing bad about them, but it's just that thing of like, as a snack, trying to make rice cakes work as a snack item, I don't know that even the Quaker is going to be able to pull this one off. It's just, again, there's sort of a perception of rice cakes, at least here in the United States, and whether it's true or not, it's definitely still there. I'm definitely not the only person who thinks like that. But I will say, alternative snacks have become a greater and greater portion of the snack experience in America as well. So, there might be room for it in that regard. I think for me personally, though, it is just that thing of like, oh, I'll definitely eat the rest of these and enjoy it while I'm doing them. While I'm doing it. Yep. But by that same token, it is like, yeah, I just prefer this flavoring on a tortilla chip or something like that, That's just the superior format for this type of snack. So for me, I wouldn't say no if somebody gave me some, but I wouldn't buy some again, And if I'm recommending them, it's like, if you're looking for an alternative snack, again, they're gluten-free and 14 grams of grains, all that good stuff. I don't know about any of that stuff, if it's good for you, bad for what have you. Please do your own research. But if you do want something as like an alternative to a potato chip, tortilla chips, what have you, sure, you could do way worse than these. The flavor is actually pretty nice for what it is. It doesn't get delivered in the best way, but, the actual, crisps themselves are nice. They got a nice little bite to them, and, they're okay. So it's one of the things, like, I can't give it a woohoo, but I could see some people enjoying this. Again, it's sort of more the alternative snack crowd. I think at the very least, the flavor alone warrants me being like, all right, yeah, sure, why not, I guess. At least give them a try if they seem interesting. But 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of month, stupendous rest of your folks. Go over there themselves a truly Matlock-tastic rest of your life. Do they show, reruns of Matlock? I don't know if they do or not, because it might be one of those shows that's too old at this point that, just everybody's kind of forgotten about it. Because you'd be surprised, how popular shows, the example I always go to is Ally McBeal. Ally McBeal, when I was a kid, was a huge deal. It was, even if you weren't in that age bracket, which I wasn't, you still knew about Ally McBeal. It was still moving and doing. Calissa Flockhart and the whole thing. But then, not so much. Once it went off the air, man, you didn't really hear anybody talk about it. It kind of wasn't a thing anymore. I don't know if Matlock's like that or not. Folks 60 and older, let me know. Is Matlock still down with the youth? Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your opinion on Matlock? I honestly cannot remember a damn thing about it. I just remember I would watch it as a kid with my grandparents, typically at night. That and All in the Family. Of course, All in the Family has stuck around, sometimes for better and sometimes for worse. That's one of those series that people look back on and remember fondly the parts that they're not supposed to. But at the same time, brilliant comedy in a lot of ways, very topical at the time, and honestly, a lot of things still sort of apply now. But Matlock, on the other hand, I don't really remember it. Were there any, like, hot ladies in Matlock? I'm sure there were in occasional episodes, but, like, I mostly just remember there was an old dude. And I don't know if he was, like, you know, I don't know. Matlock. But anyway, bye.